Hi, everyone. I want to be respectful of your time and go ahead and start now. My name is Duncan Gilman. I'm the Dean of Students for Splash Media U, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to our live tour. We're not going to take a whole lot of your time today. This is just going to be about a 20 or 25-minute walkthrough of the online program. This is a virtual school, so everything that you do in the school will be online. You can always reach out to us with questions by phone or email, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. So what we're going to do is, in a second, I'm going to switch over to the full screen view of the school. So it'll flicker for a second. It may look a little weird until we get over there, but we're going to spend most of the time there looking at the program, walking you through it so you can see how it's all laid out and how it's structured so you can become as familiar and comfortable with it as possible as a student. What we're going to do is save the questions for the end because we're going to spend most of the time in that screen and I won't see the chat window. If you're watching from Google+, then you probably can see the chat window on the right side of the screen. So feel free to go ahead, as you think of a question, put it in there. That way, when we come back to the screen at the end, I'll have all the questions there ready to go, and I can answer them right then and there live so you can get your answer now. If you're watching on YouTube, and you could be watching from our YouTube channel or from our orientation page on the website, which is splashmediau.com/orientation. If you're watching from either of those places, if you have a question, feel free to reach out to us afterward, or there's a link right there in the YouTube window to open up Google+. And in Google+, again, you can see the chat window and you can ask your questions right there in the window. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the screen. So again, this is going to look a little funny for a second. Let me start my screen share here in the Hangout. There we go. Looks a little funny. Now I'm going to open up the school. And what I've done here is log in as a sample student. You can see our very cleverly thought up name, new student. But this is a sample account, so it looks the way you would see it logging in as a student in the school. We've got the navigation up here across the top, courses, messages, resources, and support, and then a little bit of information about your own profile so you can customize it and adjust it as you need to. Down the page, you also see the courses. This is part of our attempt to make this as user-friendly as possible. So the courses are accessible here, as well as down the page with a little description of each: Foundations, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Now, a quick note about what you're seeing on the page here. If you're enrolled in Master Social Media Certification, you will see this view. You'll see our platforms, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, blogging, and YouTube, sandwiched by Foundations at the beginning and Strategy at the end, because we want to kind of bookend all the platforms with solid marketing strategy to give you some context for everything and help you create social media campaigns. If you are enrolled in an individual certificate, for example, Twitter or just Facebook, Pinterest is another example that not part of social media master certification here, but Pinterest is an available certificate. So if you're enrolled in one particular certificate, you will just see that certificate. Some of those also include the Foundations course to kind of get you started, but primarily you will just see the individual certificate that you're enrolled in. And in this case, our sample student is enrolled in master certification, so everything here is available. Well, let's go back up to the top and walk through that top navigation menu just in a little bit more detail so you know what you're looking at here. Again, courses is the same drop-down menu as the down the page menu that we see by scrolling. Messages are a great way for you to interact with your instructor, leave a message, ask a question about a class, get feedback from the instructor. Occasionally, this is where I will post updates to the school, so when we have major new videos coming out or major new courses, I'll put those here. You'll also see those over email, though they come to your email address as well. And you can see the little number up here at the top. This user has 3 unread messages, and you can view this conversation here, which sends a signal that that message has been read. We can go to not skipping ahead to support yet. Let me go to resources first. Getting a little ahead of myself. The resource library is a great way to access all of the templates and worksheets and workbooks that we refer to in other classes and assignments. So for example, in the class about creating a response policy, we refer to this response policy flowchart. in that particular class? Well, if you are past that class, or you haven't gotten to that class yet, or you want to go back and review that worksheet, you can always come here to the response policy item in the resource library. All of those resources here are listed for your reference at any time, so you can access them all in one place. The support tab up here, support is next. That's a great place to see frequently asked questions, get answers to these questions that will help you go through the program, like how to take a screenshot, why can't you access certain classes, what happens if you can't see a video, how to search for particular videos. All those questions are answered here, so it's a great place to start if you have a question. You can also open your own support ticket, easy to do here by clicking this link. It takes you to our support system, or you can just email us. You can always email support@splashmediau.com or give us a call during normal business hours. Let's go back to the home page, and we'll click on one of our courses so you can get a feel for what that looks like. Let's go ahead and click on Twitter. You can kind of see how these courses are laid out. At the top, you can see how far I've gone into this course. This is 1 of 15 assignments completed. So in this particular course, we have 15 assignments. You can see your progress up here at the top. That number, by the way, includes the final exam. So really, it's 14 assignments plus the Twitter exam. As you scroll down, you'll notice that our courses are laid out in sections. We start with the basics to get you familiar with what is a tweet, what is a retweet, how do you follow someone, all the basics that you need to really know your way around Twitter. You may already know some of these things, but we have to provide that foundation to build on that. Some people don't know Twitter, so it's helpful to have those basics down before you move on. The next 5 sections are the same in all of our courses. They consist of listening, building community, broadcasting, content, and converting those customers once you've created a community of them. And the reason that we have all of these 5 sections across all of our courses is because we wanted a way to give our students access to and a strategy for other social media platforms that are not included in our Master Social Media certification. So for example, if you are a business that wants to use something like Foursquare or Instagram, which by the way we happen to be working on now, or Snapchat, for example. If you want to branch out into another social media platform that we don't currently offer, this is a great way to build that strategy, these 5 elements. We call these 5 elements the tactical wheel. This is our basis for how we create our entire curriculum, because these are the essential elements of any good social media strategy. Listening, building community, broadcasting, creating original content, and then converting that community into paying customers. So again, the idea is to take this with you course by course, and that's what we've done by laying out all of our classes within these categories. Let's take a look at a couple. Let's back up a little bit to basics, because I want to actually show you what a class looks like. Each of these links is a class. So in the basics section, you'll have this class, Welcome to Twitter. What are the benefits of Twitter? Applying the tactical wheel, which is what we just covered. Why use Twitter? Creating a Twitter purpose statement. So all of these things to get you into the Twitter mindset and understanding how Twitter works. And you'll see sprinkled throughout, we've got these little icons with a hand and a piece of paper. That denotes an assignment. So when you, and the reason I want to get to an assignment here, but I want to back up and make sure you understand why they're placed where they are. So our classes are listed in a particular order that we feel is most beneficial for you as you go through the course. The assignments, same way. So the assignments are put in here strategically after the class that covers that material. For example, here's a good example I always like to use. The class here is how to use Twitter lists, and I can click on that link and go right to the class. The next item, and as you can see here, my navigation now becomes part of my screen on the left-hand side. This is the whole basic section. The next item in the list is, the next item here, I'm talking about lists, but the next item here is create a Twitter list as an assignment. So as you can see, we've put these assignments in places where it's a natural transition between the material you've just learned and then a homework assignment to prove that you've mastered that material. So let's go ahead and just watch a few minutes of this class, probably a few seconds. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time watching. You can watch that on your own. But you can see at the very beginning in the little screenshot, we can see what you're going to learn in this particular class, and we'll get another sense for that in a second. This actually comes up in the video. So let me just pause it right here. This is the same, and I'm going to actually turn my volume down because there's really no reason for us to be listening to that. You probably can't even hear it anyway. So right at the beginning of this class, and this is the same thing you saw in the little screenshot still at the beginning, you find out the objectives for this class. So you're going to learn what a Twitter list is, how to create one, and some common uses for them. So you learn those right off the bat. Here's what I'm going to get out of this class before you sit down to watch it. Play again. This is one that I happen to teach. All of our instructors are social media professionals. This one happens to be one that I'm doing. And you'll see that I've got a laptop here in front of me. So occasionally I will look down at the laptop, demonstrate something, and then what I'm showing you will go full screen. So you'll see full screen in real time, me working on my laptop, so you can see the concept that we're trying to highlight there. Then when you've watched this Twitter list class, then you're ready to complete the Twitter list assignment. So again, I've got all of I'm in the basics part of Twitter, and I've got all of my basics items here on the left, so I'm just going to go to the next thing, which is that Twitter list assignment, and it explains the assignment up here at the top. This particular assignment has two parts, which is one reason that I like to demonstrate it in the tours here, because it's got these two different ways to enter a part of the assignment. Part one is explain how you found the members of your list. So again, the sample class that I showed is about creating a list, a public list in Twitter. So part one is explain how you found the members that you put in there. Part two is upload a screenshot of your Twitter list so that we can see, yes, you've really mastered this concept and you know exactly how to do it. So when you're ready to submit your answer, you're going to go to the button down here that says Submit Assignment. And you'll see where those two parts go. Actually, I've already started, because I use this often in tours, I've started this one. So let me go back and cancel. I'm going to go ahead and click Edit My Submission. Because I don't want to submit it yet. I actually want to edit it to show you the submission window here. So in part one, I can put my answer right here in the text box. You can see I'll show you my sample text, but I'm just typing this in real time here. Here is where I found the members. So here's part one. This is where I put in my answer to how I found the members of my list. Part two, you complete down here. So what I recommend you doing, for those of you who are not familiar with taking a screenshot of your screen, a picture of everything that's on your screen, we have those answers for Windows operating systems and Mac OS in our frequently asked questions back up in the support area. So you can find out exactly how to do it from there. But basically, there are functions that allow you to do a virtual snapshot of your screen. And I'm not talking about a camera taking a picture of your screen. I'm talking about internally a picture of what you're looking at on your desktop saved as a file. So what I recommend that you do is somewhere on your computer, create a Splash Media U homework folder. That way you can put all of these screenshots, because occasionally we'll also ask you for a word processing document or a spreadsheet. A couple of our assignments do ask for other file formats like that, a spreadsheet or a document. But if you have a folder of all of your Splash Media U homework assignments, including the screenshots, that way all you have to do is open up that folder and drag one of those files right here into this rectangle area and drop it in to upload it. If you can't do the drag and drop thing for some reason, you can always click Add here and then browse for that file somewhere on your computer. But again, if you have a folder with Splash Media U assignments in it, everything is very easily accessible whenever you need to upload a homework assignment. So when I'm ready to go, I'm going to click Save Changes, and here this will take us back to this main screen, and I'm ready to submit it. I can always save this assignment, come back and edit it later, but when I'm ready to submit it to my instructor, I click Submit Assignment, and that's when it gave me that confirmation that says, are you sure you want to submit? And you click Continue. I'm going to go ahead and click Cancel now. I'm going to save this so I can come back and edit it again for another tour. So what this does, when you submit an assignment, is it sends it to the instructor for grading, and our grading turnaround time is 1 or 2 days depending on how many assignments we've got coming in that week. But you'll get Feedback, you'll get a grade. You'll know if you need to work on it, need to improve it, or you're ready to move on. But the instructor will give you a grade and or feedback so that you know how you did on that assignment. Quick note on grading, the assignments and exams require an 80% or above in order to pass. We want everybody to succeed, so you'll have another opportunity to do an assignment or to finish an exam or redo an exam if you don't pass it, if you get a 79 or below. Because we want you to succeed. We want you to, there's no point in taking this program if you aren't able to master the concepts that we're giving you. So we want you to pass. We give you many opportunities to redo an assignment, redo an exam if you haven't passed it. Let me give you a quick hint while we're on the topic of grading. I'll go ahead and go back to our Twitter course here. But a quick hint on the grades as you see them come through in assignments. Typically, the grades that we'll give are 180 or 50. 50 is just a signal back to the computer system that you need to redo it. So if you failed it, there's no scale to failing. It's just going to be a 50 so that you can resubmit the assignment. 100 basically means great job. It's pretty straightforward. 100 is 100. Great job. You've grasped and mastered the concept and you're ready to move on. And 80% means that you've done enough to pass and you've grasped the idea but not really mastered it yet. So there's no reason to redo an assignment if you have an 80, but take a look at what the instructor's feedback is on that assignment so that when you are doing that tactic, when you're working on that particular strategy in real life for a client or for your business, you can keep those things in mind. So basically we'll give one of 3 grades because most of the things that we do are either you've got the concept or you haven't. We've tried to make it objective so that it's as smooth a process for you and as clear and straightforward a process for you going through the school. So here we are back on the Twitter main page. Once you've gone through all of the classes, you'll see they'll turn gray here. So the classes that I've yet to watch are blue. The ones that I've already watched are gray. That doesn't mean you can't come back and watch them. You can come back and watch them at any time during your 5-month enrollment period. And 5 months, by the way, is the enrollment period for master certification. That is different if you're enrolled in an individual certificate. I realize I'm going fast. I want to make sure I cover everything. This video will be available on our YouTube channel for you to watch at any time. We have all of our, or a good number, I should say, not every single one, but a good number of our pre-recorded tours after they're live. We keep them on YouTube for a while so you can access them at any time. But I want to go ahead and go down to the end here so you can see what the exam description says. The exam consists, and each of our course exams are like this. They consist of 25 questions that are multiple choice and true false. And by making them multiple choice and true false, what that means is you can get an immediate grade back from the system because it's all objective. It's, you know, your answer is A or B or C, or it's true or false. So the system itself gives you an immediate grade. So you know, did I make an 80 or higher? Can I move on? Or did I make a 79 or below? Do I need to redo that exam? If you fail an exam, we've built in a 24-hour window that will give you time to go back and watch the classes that you may have missed. And if you have any questions about the questions that you missed, feel free to reach out to your instructors and we can help point you in the right direction and show you where that class might be so you can study a particular section to do the exam again and pass that time. You'll have an opportunity, just like in the homework assignments, and I'm sorry the screen's kind of frozen here, I'm not really pointing to anything, I just want to explain that just like in the homework assignments, before you click submit in an exam, you'll have an opportunity to go back and review your answers just in case you want to change an answer before you hit that submit button. I think that's everything I wanted to cover as far as courses and exams. I want to point out one additional piece that's part of our Master Social Media Certification that it is a required part of that certification, and it's called seminars. We wanted a place to put some longer form lectures. Most of our lectures are 3 or 4 minutes, or most of our classes are 3 or 4 minutes long, because we have everything in these bite-sized chunks that allow you to watch it on the go, on your commute on the subway if you want. I don't know how good your access is, your internet access is, but you can watch it on your laptop or on a mobile device wherever you are. So that's one of the reasons that we broke these classes down into bite-sized 3 or 4 minute chunks. The lectures are a way, the seminars are a way to give you these longer form lectures that really dive into a particular topic. So you can go in depth into, and here they are listed, you can go in depth into how to manage a campaign for a client or for your business that you work for, doing marketing, or a business that you own. A deeper look into return on investment for social media. We really try to crunch the numbers here in a user-friendly way, a way that's easy to understand. So I highly recommend well, I mean, these are all mandatory, but I recommend them anyway, because there's some great information in here on really understanding marketing dollars and how social media applies to that. We take a deeper dive into the tactical wheel in this particular seminar, because we wanted to give you more than just the basic structure of the 5 tactical elements. We want to really show you how they apply everywhere. And then we go into depth in this final one into search engine optimization, SEO, for video and for blogs. Each of the seminars has an accompanying quiz. These are a little bit different than our course exams. These are just 10 questions, but same format, multiple choice and true false, but 10 questions each to make sure that you've understood the concepts laid out in those seminars. Again, a required part of Master Social Media Certification. I think that just about covers it. You'll notice there's one thing that we didn't touch on in the course drop-down list, and that's the final exam. When you click on this, all it really has are instructions on how to get access to the final. The final pulls questions from all of the other course exams, and it's actually 75 questions long, because we want to make sure that it's comprehensive enough. But again, at any time you can go back and watch any of the classes to review a little bit. I would go back and take a look at your answers from previous exams, which you can access. Go back and review those exams again before you take the final. So again, when you click on the final exam link down here, what it does is take you to a brief list of instructions on how to access the final exam. The most important of those instructions is to go back through each of your courses and make sure that this activity bar is complete. So this whole thing is all the way blue shaded in. I wanted to show you the activity completed status bar in Foundations, because I actually do have some items completed here. I can click on that. Did you see what I clicked on? Let me go back. I clicked on, sometimes it's hard to see the mouse. I clicked on this 4 of 7, and that'll show me which of these assignments I've completed and which I haven't. So this particular assignment is completed, completed, not completed. This one is failed, so I'll have to go back and do that one again. Again, as I think I mentioned at the beginning, the final of these requirements in the exam, in the course, is the final exam. So you'll also see your status here for the final, and also a completion date, so you kind of have basically a timeline of where you are. I recommend spending about half an hour each weekday. We've had students complete the program, and I'm talking about Master Social Media Certification, everything that you see here on the screen. We've had students complete this in as short a time as a month and a half. That's not a requirement. You can take your full 5 months, but in order to pace yourself, give you a nice good pace, so you're not scrambling at the end to finish everything, I recommend spending about half an hour a day, at least on the weekdays, in classes and in assignments. That averages about 6 or 7 classes a weekday. I think is a really good pace that you won't feel too rushed. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and switch over. We're a little overtime. I told you 20 minutes, but we're a little overtime here because I did want to spend some time on questions. Let me minimize this. Again, the screen's going to look a little funny here. Go back to my main window here. If you have any questions, feel free. Again, if you're on Google+, you can type your questions right into the group chat over here on the right. In fact, let me go ahead and put a little note here. I'm just saying, here's where you can ask questions. So that'll appear over here. Hopefully that group chat is visible to everyone. If you're watching on YouTube, which is the case if you're on our website or on our YouTube channel, there should be a link to Google Plus Hangouts. You can click that link, open up the Hangouts, ask me a question. I'll stay on for a few more seconds, or you can always go back and watch this again, because again, we have all of our tours recorded, or ask us a question by phone or by email. We're available during regular business hours, so we want you to reach out to us with any questions you have before you enroll, or once you enroll, as you start working with clients, start working with your business, and you're brainstorming, you're stuck on a particular campaign, or if something's not working quite right, if you have questions about video viewing or something just doesn't seem quite right in the school, please let us know. We want to make every effort to make the school as good as it can possibly be. Seems like we don't have any questions here on Google Plus. Again, reach out to us at any time. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for attending our tour today.